Welcome to Holistic Human Performance Podcast. My name is Gena, where we talk all things holistic health, wellness, spirituality, fitness, meditation, energetics, and so much more to help you become the healthiest version of yourself. Let's dive in. This is not medical advice. This is simply to help you on your journey through health, fitness, and wellness. I hope this helps. You can complement this with anything that you are doing currently in your life. Enjoy. What the holistic human performance community has turned into is something beyond words. I am so grateful for each and every single one of you. And I wanted to talk about what the community is all about. And really, it just started with me going through a really low time in life, where I did not have my health as a 2-time cancer survivor. And I really leaned into holistic health, that lifestyle, changing everything about it. Really taking a deep dive into energy medicine and spirituality and combining all of these different aspects of mind, body, and soul together that helped me heal on a deep level. And now I am following out my soul's mission and purpose and bringing this to you all. And so I want to invite you inside of the holistic human performance community. We have an app, which is the CIHP app on Apple and Google Play, which you can also get all of these goodies on the desktop as well. And really what you're going to find inside of this community, I call it the Virtual Wellness Center. It's going to be all about holistic health, spirituality, energetics, all different practices, tools, modalities. So we have things like sound bath meditations, we have breath work, we have tapping series, we have workouts, we have somatic healing, we have masterclass series, we have programs. I have other professionals come on inside of the app to teach. So there's so many cool things you get inside of this community. And so I wanted to give this to you all as a membership. And what you're getting is a monthly membership where you have 300 plus on-demand videos, plus live stream classes and programs and courses. You're literally getting all of these incredible tools to take with you wherever, whenever you need. And so for $33 per month, you get access to this. Or you can do annual, which is $320 for the year. You're getting all of this inside of the Holistic Human Performance Virtual Wellness Center. And not only that, you could try it out for 1 week free and cancel whenever you want. So these are things that are going to help reprogram your subconscious mind, you regulate your nervous system, keep you healthy and navigating life with full life force energy, and really helping you to express yourself authentically while also enhancing your health and your well-being so that you can find and follow your soul's mission and purpose. So I invite you inside of this community. It is so beautiful and juicy. And not to mention, we have a whole section inside of the app where it is a community forum so we can chat with each other and talk about our wins, what we're going through, and so much more. And I don't know if I mentioned, if you are a one-on-one coaching client, you get full access to the entire Virtual Wellness Center membership. So I invite you inside of the CIHP community. Again, you can get your week free trial on Apple or Google Play or right on your desktop at holistichumanperformance.co. And welcome to another episode of the Holistic Human Performance Podcast. I'm your host, Gena Vitali. And today we have a special guest with us. We have Dr. Clayton Skaggs, is the founder and CEO of Central Institute for Human Performance and the author of the new book, The Power of Doing What Matters: Discover the Mind-Body Resilience in All of Us. Dr. Skaggs specializes in helping people identify what they actually need to do to improve their health and overall sense of well-being, focusing on things and letting go of anything else. And the teams at CIHP have worked with World Series champions, Stanley Cup champions, elite military, PGA champions, NFL, NHL, and MLB All-Stars, just to name a few. He currently consults individuals from all around the world who have unresolved pain or injuries and those seeking better resilience. Without further ado, welcome to the podcast.
Oh, Gena, thank you very much. Just hearing that introduction is so exciting. What we've been able to do at the Institute and the blessings that I've had, through this work to help all these folks. And so thanks for letting us share that.
Yeah, so let's start here. What even got you to this point of, doing what you do? What got you interested in this work that you do today?
Hmm. Yeah, I get asked that quite a bit, and again, so grateful to just bump into some amazing teachers and individuals that brought us to this point. I was I began my base degree is in chiropractic, and I was early in my career and realized that there were gaps, nutrition and exercise that at that point, I mean, that's you know, 30 years ago. I know I don't look that old, but it was that long ago. And so I'm sitting there in my solo practice and seeing these gaps and a little challenged at that stage in my career that I didn't feel I had what I needed for folks. And this brochure comes across my desk about a neurologist from Prague
Mm.
teaching a course on muscle imbalance in Peoria, Illinois. I mean, so here I'm in St. Louis, Missouri, this neurologist from Prague teaching a course on muscle imbalance in Peoria, Illinois. And it was one of those moments where I said, I'm going to that. And that neurologist was Vladimir Yanda, one of the most renowned uh, you know, teachers and leaders in rehabilitation and physical medicine now. I mean, people realize that now. And he just, he filled in the gaps of science and understanding for musculoskeletal problems at the time. And I launched into following him and others who were at this meeting, Craig Leemanson, Jerry Hyman, who became important colleagues and mentors of mine. And that then led to me teaching within their program at Southern California University, going to Prague for the next 10 years and learning from the neurologists and physical therapists there, and then meeting more teachers. Again, just uh, just incredible that I was able to bump into these renowned folks, Stuart McGill, um, you know, Charles Pollock, and just
Wow.
time and time again. Uh, Here I am, this country guy from Missouri that bumps into these amazing people that that provide knowledge, but also collegial relationships that have lasted for 20 years. And and then that led to us starting this institute there in St. Louis. And we've as you said in your intro, we see people from all over the country, all over the world. I was chatting with someone in India yesterday, trying to solve their back and neurological symptoms. And and so we're just really blessed to now have kind of culminated a lot of this knowledge into to something that can help people. And the book is the stories and some of that knowledge and science over the last 20 years. So kind of a long review, but it's kind of fun what how that's come together.
Yeah, it seems like you've taken a lot of, this is really where experts come into play. It's like you've taken a lot of different aspects, kind of putting the pieces of the puzzle together. Because I actually, funny enough, I saw my chiropractor yesterday and he was so helpful. I don't like to see chiropractors that just like crack and just
Mm.
like kind of send you on your way. Like he does ART. What is it?
Hmm.
Active release technique, I
Yeah,
believe.
Mike Leahy. I also, he was a colleague, and I taught with his program for a while. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And, I think it's really important for people to understand that it's not just kind of like going to a chiropractor, and also it can be d dangerous. Like I've heard
Oh
some
yeah,
pretty
yeah.
crazy stories. My aunt actually went to one and she half of her face ended up going numb because of the
Mm,
way that they cracked her neck. And,
yeah.
again, there's so much more to chiropractic care that I think a lot of people don't understand, especially, you work with a lot of like elite athletes, they gotta heal quick and they gotta get back
Hmm.
to play. So what's
Sure.
your philosophy when it comes to this work?
Sure, sure. Well, so just starting off with that idea and that mention of chiropractic, I'm very uh, um, glad that I started with that as my base degree,
Mm,
in that the philosophy in most of those institutions is to search for the root cause of things, and so that I think has been really foundational for what where we are and what we do today. And it's kind of curious that traditional medicine is being nudged towards that,
yes.
and it's fascinating, that we've been saying that for 30 years, and now all of a sudden you're seeing these medical proclamations. We need to look for the cause, not just chase the symptom, and so it's exciting that at least we're moving towards that. And again, that I had that base, I think helped me as we've evolved our program to keep that first and foremost. And when we talk to people, we tell them, look, the distinction is we're going to try to identify why you're having persistent pain, why you're still having these recurrent sciatic symptoms or these recurrent, neck and shoulder symptoms, not what it is.
Mm,
And because just identifying that it's a rotator cuff, strain, or that it's a disc pathology does not tell us why it, it's under load, or why it's still sensitized, or why it's recurring on you. So when you're looking for a practitioner, and as I say in my book, this is when you're looking for your circle of advisors, these are things to look for. Those that put attention to the assessment. So
mm,
the assessment that is searching for why, more than what. What is important? So, if I have a case, I do need to know if there's a herniation into the cord, or there's significant structural issues, but not more than why, not more than why. And most of the time, we're putting most of our treatment intervention, exercise, or manual therapies and other strategies towards the why. The plan is all directed towards the why.
yeah.
As my mentor Carol Levitt, another neurologist I trained with in Prague, very famously said, "If you're treating at the site of pain, you're likely lost." And he's so spot on. He's brilliant.
Yeah. And okay, so you talk a lot about stress and
Mm.
producing this mind body resilience. Can you talk about that. What does that mean? And,
Mm.
just so people can get a better understanding because the body has its own language.
Oh, 100%, 100%. Yeah.
So,
Well, so I think we're more stressed than ever, and stress is getting more and more recognition, it's always there, right? So um, how you respond to it is the key, and certainly over the years of work at the institute, what I've seen, just gets more affirmed every year is the mind is the most potent thing we can address. It's the hardest. It's the hardest to impact, but it is the most potent. And we certainly understand that the mind affects the body, and the
mhm.
body affects the mind. It's fascinating that there are still some traditional practices and percent of our medical approach that doesn't recognize that, but it's just scientifically solid at this point that the mind affects the body and the body
Yeah.
affects the mind. I mean, placebo studies are just thousands now that show that the mind, which is what placebo is, right? The mind, when you give someone a sugar pill and it helps their MS symptoms or it helps their depression. Um, that's the mind doing that. Um, so clearly, the mind matters. I think sometimes folks come into us and say, "Yeah, I was told that it's in my mind," and we quickly reframe that
Yeah.
nope, no, it's not just in your mind. It's the mind matters, and so we're going to put attention to that. We're going to help you with your behavior related to that. We're going to help you with your emotion related to that. Um, and, and, and pain, all pain is real, 100%. And
Yeah, because then it can create this sense of like fear and also like it's my fault. Like it's
uh,
all in my head and I'm just like making it up in my head. And I feel like it
yeah.
makes it worse.
Oh, 100%. And so we see folks from all over, and unfortunately, once someone's had pain or challenges, even of inflammation and obesity, things like that, for longer than 3 to 6 weeks, there is going to be a behavioral, some, some neural tags, some things that are locked into that. So that has to be addressed. Has some of that been implanted by other practitioners or other approaches? Um, and so really letting them know um, that this is real, pain is real. If you keep having negative thoughts about it, that'll will make it worse. And so we need to help them understand why they're having their troubles, and then help them create a plan to get in front of that. And
Mm,
so we do that, by first identifying why someone's there,
hmm.
and as I cover in the book, create as many strategies that we know are hitting the target for initiating good movement patterns, good neuroimmune responses for them, uh, and then stop being everything else. And so I think you talked about that in your intro. Over the past 3 to 5 years, we've really been mining our data, and what we identified is those that just change their life. They they gain muscle, lose fat, restore their pain. They don't think about their back anymore. It's just gone after 6 or 8 months, something like that. It's those that really did what we said and nothing else. So they truly stopped all the other negative influences,
Mm,
and those might be movement or nutritionally based, but often, and this again gets back to what's the most potent, they stopped all the other negative thought processes that were feeding, feeding their why, feeding why they were in the spot they're in.
Mm,
And so often folks are coming in, they've been doing 20 exercises, they've been, had their nerves burned, they've had all kinds of things done. And we're saying, look, do this exercise, this breathing exercise, this simple posture exercise, and maybe one more little thing, and nothing else. And guess what happens?
gone.
They they're doing great. They and we've had some just again and again in a few weeks, people gaining muscle, like 78-year-old, males and females gaining muscle, losing fat, uh, no diet change, gaining muscle, losing fat by doing these simple exercises and nothing else. Why? Because they're hitting the neuroimmune target,
Hmm.
which is, it's remarkable. I mean, so when you break a bone and you stabilize it with a cast just right, it grows new bone. And it's, I mean, the body is amazing.
It knows what to do.
Yeah, but if you put a cast on too loose or you put a cast on too tight,
No good.
it's not good. And you're missing the target. So when you find out why, someone's having troubles and you say, okay, here's what's going to hit the target for you. Do this. And when you hit that target and don't dilute it with too much or too little,
Mm.
it's just amazing.
Yeah, I find that people can make it too complex
Mm,
and also too many cooks in the kitchen where they're just
yep.
getting so many. It's overwhelming, it's so much white
Hmm.
noise, and they're like, oh, well, this person says I should be doing this. And, but you mentioned creating that team. And
Yep.
I think if that team is helping you, then just stick with that. Like that's your team. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter what this other person says if you're not getting what you need from them. And also intuitively, if you're not getting the right vibe off of them and you're like, something's a little off, then
Mm,
really listen to that because I'm sure it's right.
yeah. We get folks in and they're seeing a physio, maybe they're seeing another doctor. And I always say, look, most of those folks have have the best intentions.
Hmm.
I feel very confident of that. And yet, you're not where you want to be. You're not, right? I mean,
Yeah,
so
like
are
why is
you
that?
are you happy where you are? No, no, I'm not. So we need to change things, and we need to just reduce this equation down to variables we know.
Hmm.
And so we identify where they are. Okay, here's what we're suggesting you do, and nothing else. And so if A plus B should equal C, then if they don't equal C, we know why. And so that's why we trim a lot of that out. Um, and then at some point, maybe we work some of the other things back in, but
Right.
we have to get some momentum going, some traction established.
Yeah. And you also talk about these six pillars of resilience and how to grow stronger in your physical and emotional life. Can
Hmm.
you talk about those six pillars?
Yeah, so the six pillars of resilience are genetics and trauma, which
Okay.
we can't control, right? So genetics, that's what we got. Traumas, it's what you've had up to this point, emotional and physical. And so but those are part of it. So those are
Yep.
part of your makeup. And then the four that we can control are treatment that we either engage, or self-treatment that we provide, exercise, and remedial movement, things like yoga or Feldenkrais, things like that. Diet, nutrition, yeah. And then the big one, and you see my book, it's the biggest pillar, it's got the most potency, is our knowledge and experience, or essentially how we think about life and how we approach it. And so those four that we can control uh, are things we can influence. And so the the real purpose of my book is for more people to know that they can contribute to the resilience and health and they can do it through those four pillars that so they can choose what they eat and supplement. They can choose how they treat. So if they get a strained knee, do they rush off to get an arthroscopic surgery, or do they get a little manual care, manual therapy, and exercise? How they move and how they exercise, and then again, how they think, and
Mm.
um, and and so that thinking pillar, which is is really emphasized through the book. Um, there's just a lot of simple things that anyone can do that influence how you're going to be responding to your world, how you're going to be responding to stress. And again, you started off with, we're going to have stress. So we're going to have slips and falls. We're going to have undesirable things happen. How we respond depends on where we are in our neutral state. And so if we're in a sympathetic mode all the time, and then we get stress of a fall or trauma or someone passes on, uh, how's our body gonna handle that?
Mm.
Yeah, and so uh, the simple exercises like diaphragmatic breathing, standing on one leg, reading. I mean, uh, as researching some thoughts on reading lately, and reading a book, not something on the internet or otherwise, but
Like a
reading
physical book.
a book, reading a book for 30 minutes a day leads to 20% improvement in mortality.
Wow.
I mean,
Sign me up.
yeah, but if you asked, if you ask, a population of folks, so how many are reading a book 30 minutes a day?
Not a lot.
Not a lot, and
Yeah.
it's hard. So uh, all these things we're talking about are simple. To breathe for 15 minutes a day. I mean, it's simple, right? And we can teach anyone diaphragmatic breathing. Breathe through your belly. It's harder for some, but so to do that 15 minutes a day, uh, it'll change your world. I mean, everyone who we get to do that, they say, "Oh my gosh, I'm so much more relaxed." I had this 17-year-old elite squash player who she's going to Harvard next year, and we taught her breathing, and she's like, "I'm sleeping. I'm sleeping through the night, and
So crazy.
I'm focusing on in my class so much better just from breathing." It,
2/3 of the population I read don't even breathe properly.
oh yeah, yeah,
It's I mean that's our life force energy.
yeah. I say breathing's kind of important. 20 to 30,000 times a day you
Mm,
breathe, and so it can either be constructive
yeah.
or not. Yeah.
Yeah. It can harm you, actually.
Oh yeah. No, for
I
sure.
actually was doing so before I got into holistic health and doing this in this world,
Hmm.
I was performing like VO2 max tests on
Yeah.
people, and when I was reading the data, it was really clear, and especially with women, I'll say too. It would show me like when they're burning fat, when they're burning carbohydrates, and I saw literally in the data those, and a lot of them I would ask beforehand, how's your stress level and what kind of exercise routines are you doing? Most of them were like, I'm trying to lose weight. I'm doing high intensity exercise like 3 to 4 times a week.
Yeah.
And then I would see that when they're at a low steady state grade, literally just walking, they're burning carbohydrates. They're in a
Mm.
state of literally like pulling from their own muscles. And, it was so clear that, okay, your stress is very much impacting your entire body, your neurological system. And then on top of that, you're adding more high intensity onto that. And so it was so, this was a while ago in like my early 20s
Mm.
when I was doing this. And I learned at a young age, like, wow, this is not, in order to lose weight and be more effective, like, you don't need to train high intensity 3 to 4 times a week, like we're doing it wrong.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you're spot on, and you know, you're mentioning that. Gosh, this was a while ago, and so many of these things are known, and we we've just known it
Yeah.
for such a long time, and yet you know, we just continue to do, you know, the wrong things, and
Mhm.
but I'm hopeful. I think there's some really exciting nudging that's happening relative to people taking more responsibility for their health, to people that are just thinking more. They're, you know, um, they're asking questions, and I think medicine in general is moving and being nudged to move more towards an approach that puts some accountability back to the client, back to the patient, and where there's a coordination of that effort versus here, take this, you know, don't, don't think about it. Just take
Yeah.
this. So I think, you know, these things that you know, and then what you're talking about in terms of you're doing too much of the wrong thing, are hopefully, you know, starting to, you know, get in front of the individuals and the things that we're reading and doing, where more people can be helped. And that's, you know, that's really, you know, my purpose, the thing that I want to do with this next half of my work is help people do more of what matters. As it, you know, put in the front of the book, it's for my daughter, her kids and their kids, that these simple ideas of, hey, you know, train less, eat more, and and be aware, you know, be aware, everybody, do deliberate leisure, um, are more commonplace, and it's easier for them to have good health and good wellness. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. So, as we wrap up, I
Mm.
always ask this question at the end. What um uh what message do you want to leave the listeners before we wrap up?
Mm. Yeah, I think, you know, to really make sure you are asking the right questions for yourself and of your circle of advisors, um, in a way that keeps you in discovery mode, that you're pursuing learning and experiencing in a way that'll build your resilience and your responsiveness for health. And so, you know, when someone asks me, how do I or what's the most important thing for becoming more resilient or having less pain, it's making sure that you and your circle are asking the right questions. And
Key.
yeah.
Love that. Thank you so
Mm,
much.
thank
So,
you.
where can people find you?
Look, a few places, certainly at CIHP.com is our institute's website. The Power of Doing What Matters also has a website for the book.
Hmm.
And then we've recently launched a new educational platform called Curious Gap.
Oh,
And Curious Gap, the gap between what you know and what you do. And that website is designed to provide coursework and learning and learning products for individuals to build their knowledge, build their experience, for filling that gap of what they know and what they do. So curiousgap.com is also a place where you can find our work. We have a new breathing course on there that's very straightforward, but I think even if you've been doing breathing practice and things for a long time, you'll learn something in that course. And as we said, breathing is kind of important.
It only keeps us alive.
Yeah. I like that. I like that.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much. I will add all of this beautiful information into the show notes so you can find all of Dr. Clayton's work. And thank you so much for coming on. If you like this episode, please like, share, subscribe, write a review. Let us know if you want to hear about any topics. And I will talk to you in the next one. Bye.